If you're the type of person that is afraid of leaving people, if you're the type of person that feels like if you leave, the person will never come back, if you're the type of person that you believe that the people that you hang around, the family members you have are more valuable than they are to you, if you believe that nobody will miss you if you leave, it's simply because you haven't left. Because most likely you are totally wrong about that. And this video will explain to you why that is. Your absence will be felt. And the reason why is because you are actually more valuable to others than you think you are. The problem is that without absence, most people are what I like to call our natural ingrates. In Spanish, we call them ingratos, meaning somebody who can never appreciate what they have until it goes away. And that's why today we're gonna be talking about this and why, if you actually feel like people don't value you, the real reason why is because you just never left. You never actually taken a step back to see how people are really gonna react. It's like if you die and all of a sudden you're expecting that if you die, Granny to do the fucking worm in your funeral. But then when you go to your funeral, you see Granny crying. In fact, she fucking died in the funeral because of you. People actually get shocked that when they actually, for example, I have people who work with me one-on-one, and I tell them, the reason why you feel like nobody loves you is because you just never left. You never actually taken a step back to see their reaction. And usually most people don't want to do that because they are afraid that people are not going to run after them. And if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, go to mindfulattraction.org, and there you'll be able to book a one-on-one phone call with me that's confidential and private and nobody will find out. And there you'll be able to talk to me. Maybe you guys want to apply these strategies. Maybe you want to tell me of a situation and you don't know whether or not you're in the right or in the wrong. Well, book that one-on-one phone call with me, man. Nothing could go wrong. You know, the shit that your grandma is saying is wrong, okay? So tell Granny you're going to talk to Father Alex, and you'll notice that the results will be completely different. And if you guys want to purchase my courses, where I talk about this, just wait to the end of the video or click on the description down below and see the courses that I have for sale, okay? Let's continue with the video, right? They may have what people call fear of abandonment. Like, you guys might not believe this, but when I was younger, I thought I was ugly, right? And the main reason why is because I used to be such a needy, creepy kid that I actually thought I was ugly. And I'm not hot, but I'm not ugly, right? You can't categorize me in ugly tier. And the reason why that is because I've never seen people react to my absence. People only reacted to my presence, and because I only gave them presence, people described me as annoying. Yeah, that's right. I was like a fucking fly. One time, I was so annoying that my cousin, I clearly remember this day, that fucking asshole. I was trying to get him to stay to play Super Mario with me because I was alone when I was a kid. Like, I only had female fucking aunties and my guy cousins. They didn't want to hang out with me because I was young. And I remember to this day, I'm gonna name him fucking Christian. Yeah, you Christian. He was like, I'll be back. This dude fucking climbed the fence and left. And I'm like, and even at that moment, I didn't like see it as he left. I was like, why did he leave? Like, I didn't understand. I was like, why did he leave? And so when I was a kid, I always had that fear of abandonment. And I think that because I was so afraid to give him that space, I never really saw how much people truly liked me, right? So your absence showed that a lot of the time that you weren't the problem. So when you walk away, a lot of people think that they're unhappy because of you. A lot of people think that the reason why they're miserable, depressed, anxious, or their family is always fighting is because of you. Once you leave, they realize they're still unhappy. Once you leave, they realize they literally recreated the same dynamics in the last relationship. They realize that you were not the problem. And what happens is that once you come back, once they realize that, some people, if they have good character, they actually become more humble, right? So you leave, they see that you weren't the problem, and when you come back, they actually love you more, right? They sense how much, once you leave, right, you're absent. The next thing is that your absence leaves an emotional gap. For example, like a few years ago, I was dating this woman who, like always, I took her for granted. And she always used to hang out in my place because we were good company to each other. And, I'm the type of person that if I do like you, I'm not going to feel that I like you. I'm just going to be used to you, right? Like, it's almost like you're used to them, but you don't feel the emotion. Your eyes are just used to seeing them. Like, it's almost like your eyes is used to seeing the sun, right? You just get used to it. And then one day she left. And then I remember when I woke up and when I went into my apartment, I was like, you just felt like the air got taken out. And I was like, oh, fuck. God damn. She felt the emotional gap. I just didn't notice it. That's a bullshit. Legit, it felt like when you're used to seeing a furniture there and then it just gets taken out and all you see is like the imprint of the furniture. So it fills an emotional gap. And they can only know how much of a gap that you filled, how much of a crater you created, only in your absence, man. Only in your absence. And if you fear abandonment, you will never truly see that, right? And what happens is that if you actually filled an emotional gap, like for example, my mom, she would tell me, get the fuck out. And I'm like, all right, man, I'm getting the fuck out. And then a few weeks later, hey, Papi, what's going on? I'm like, yo, this bitch is toxic. Look, man, I realized that with my mom, I felt there's been some anger there that I realized. I'm like, you know what, Alexis? Even though you're right, you're wrong because you're using anger and resentment, And I'm like, you know what, Alexis? You got to be nicer. There's a resentment that you feel and you're wrong in that. And so that's something that Father Alex has to look into. But yeah, generally speaking, like that's why they have like a love-hate relationship with you, right? Now, the next thing is that they sense how much they are emotionally dependent on you. And this is when it's like I said, like a crackhead, right? Crack guy, right? And he thinks, oh, I'm not addicted to crack. He texts his boy, hey, yo, you got that Alaskan Thunder crack? And then he says, nah. And then what does he feel? He feels an anxiety. He's like, no crack. Oh, fuck, I'm addicted to this shit. God damn it, right? It's only in that moment because addiction happens underneath the surface. Love happens unconsciously. You don't notice it until it's already too late, right? So you leaving will reveal to you that, yo, holy shit, they love me more than I expected. Like they rely on me more than I realized, right? And the next thing is that your absence strips them of manipulation, strips them of manipulation powers. You gotta understand, manipulation is proximity. It relies on proximity. So if you're consistent, if some people can only manipulate you if you're physically present, because they can intimidate you, they can control the environment. They may have more people around you to create what I like to call social force. Social force is like the peer pressure, right? Like when people tell you the sky is red, but you're seeing blue. And if enough people tell you that you're wrong, you're literally going to start to see the sky is red, right? This manipulation is what they call gaslighting. And it's actually mob rule, where the mob, the people, everyone around you will make you doubt your sanity. And this is how a lot of people get manipulated by family members. And they start noticing how fucking insane their family members are. once they have emotional distance. And your family members notice that. And they resent that, and they'll try to bring you in through guilt, through trying to bring you, hey, of course you would do that. Oh, you think you're so good, you're leaving us? You know, oh, they'll use like guilt. Oh, your mom is dying, this or that. And they can only do that when you're there. And this is why physical distance from a group, it's required, because it gives you perspective. That's why when you travel and outside of your country, it gives you a different point of view about your country. You're like, yo, you know what? America rocks. Let's go. I was telling my friend yesterday how I was going to make a video about Mexico. My friend was like, yo, you should make a video about Mexico. And I was like, I know what to say. And I know you're going to like it. And she was like, what? I was like, hey, gringo, no vengan. Me atracaron, no vengan. Quédense ahí. México no es bueno. And she was like, hey, what the fuck? That's horrible. Don't say it. I'm like, that's great. They're not going to come. That's exactly what you want, motherfucker. Like, you want to scare these gringos out the wazoo, man. Say, look, man, they're kidnapping black people. Look, man, America's though, once they start kidnapping black people, it's done. It's over. Like, there's, because I'm like, sometimes I feel safe because I'm dark skinned, because they're like, they're not going to fuck with me. They're going to go after Whitey. You know, that fair skin, the fucking gringo, right? Jacob and shit, right? Anyways, so their manipulation powers lessons in your absence, and sometimes people only love the power that the manipulation gives them, right? They only love the power they have over you, and a lot of times if you leave, they might lose interest because they truly want the power, right? And that's why you have to leave sometimes, because when you leave, you realize you actually have more power. You realize that, oh my God, the only reason why I was so spellbound, it was simply because of one thing: physical proximity. You'd be surprised how much the conviction of others fucks with how you perceive reality, right? Now, I'm gonna show you something you guys never seen before, because a lot of you guys are very chismosos. Let's go upstairs, and now we're gonna talk about the good side. Oh my fucking God, we're going to Father Violence' room. Yeah, shut up. Anyway. When not to use manipulation, okay? So, let's talk about this. It's very important. I don't know why the fuck I drew that. I don't know. I was just trying to see if I could draw a mouth, but I guess it looks really wrong. Fuck it, right? Let's go. Anyways, so when not to use manipulation is actually really important. You don't use absence when you are in a healthy relationship. You use absence in the beginning, as you guys are getting to know each other. But as you guys are growing together, I don't recommend too much absence. You want to use absence every now and then, but not to the point where it's negligent, because that's how people cheat, right? Right? Yeah. In a healthy relationship, you don't use this. You only use absence to refresh things. You know, you want to see absence as like sleep, right? You're creating absence from the world. And when you sleep, you recover your brain. You prevent damage. Absence is like that. You go to work, your boy, your girl stays home, right? That's absence. That's like sleep to the brain. You don't have to do a lot of it, but it's important for your relationship to it's almost like you're filtering, right? You're allowing like the filtering system, which is absence and presence, to keep things fresh, right? It's like opening up the door and letting new fresh air out. It's really important for a relationship. In fact, what happens during COVID? During COVID, a lot of people work together. And because they work together consistently, they actually broke up. I loved it. I never had so much work in my life. I'm like, please bring the Black Death. Oh, please bring Ebola. Oh, Lord, whatever got Leonardo da Vinci, bring it over, right? Leonardo da Vinci is over there. That's my painting classes right there. All right, so yeah. The next thing is don't leave. Oh, Lord. Don't leave when they need you. By the way, zoom in on this. This is the worst place for a bird to shit on. Hey, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, anyways. Wait, this is, like, it's crazy, bro. Please don't tell me those bird shit there. Oh, Lord, it's going over there. So don't use it when they need you. And this is where some people are absent when you really need them. That's a sign of their character. They're only there for the good times. And this is where a lot of people who are emotionally distant or avoidant. Why? Because they find real emotions awkward, right? It looks like a teenage alien from the planet XRZ. And this is where a lot of disconnect happens, because a lot of people find strong emotions awkward because they just don't feel strong emotions in themselves, right? They weren't accustomed to feeling strong emotions. So when they see it in you, they leave. And that makes for a really bad partner, right? Don't use it when, oh my God, Father Alex erased something. I did, and you'll never find out. Don't use it when, they doubt your love. Sometimes some of you motherfuckers are cold as fuck, okay? And because of that, you create natural insecurities in people. You have like unconscious habits that unconsciously communicate that you're not that interested. That's actually me. I'm kind of like that. And I had to learn that because of my natural disposition. When they feel like I don't love them, I have to make effort to be there and show them that they're wrong, right? And the reason why that is because a lot of people who are naturally distant or avoidant, they create this sense of insecurity, but they don't know that when they sense that this person feels like neglected, my natural inclination is to like, yo, relax, I do like you, and to create more distance. Unfortunately, you have to be conscious of that. And when people don't feel loved by you, don't interpret it as them being needy. Interpret it as though you just need to show them that you do love them through your presence, right? Don't accuse them of being needy or your desires are unnecessary. No, like, just be there. Be there in their presence, right? Because, when a lot of people are insecure, right? And this is actually the next thing, is that be careful with the insecure. You want to calibrate your absence to the person's security level, right? With some people, you could be more absent than others. I dated women that I'm consciously aware that I don't have to say anything to them. Me and them can just study and read a book, and I don't have to say nothing to her. This is one girl that I really like dating her, where she was a knitter. She was an artist, but she drew through knitting. And we would go to the coffee shops and draw together for hours. We wouldn't say anything. But from time to time, I would like touch her, or like she'll bump me, and that's all we needed. But then I would date women who I would need to say, hey, I love you, and kiss them and go back to work. Right? So you can't just be selfish and want to do it your way because that's what you're used to. You got to be more flexible and blend in with the person and understand that people are different and have different needs, and you just can't be using absence all blanketly. Your absence is felt, some more than others. So remember, when not to use absence is when you have a healthy relationship. You don't have to use too much absence. Don't use absence when they're in an emotional place that they need you. Don't use it when they're in doubt of your love. So when they say, oh, baby, you don't come across as though you don't love me, don't be like, oh, fuck this shit, man, I'm leaving. I'll be back. Don't do that shit, right? Unless it's to play basketball. Be careful with the insecure, meaning you could use these strategies, but become aware of who you are dealing with, because if they're highly insecure, this is not going to work, right? And remember, absence leaves an emotional gap, meaning they show people your value. Your absence shows that you were not the problem. Sometimes they use you as a scapegoat, and they realize that once you leave, they're still unhappy and fucking miserable pricks. They sense how much they emotionally depend on you, which shows that in reality, they were more dependent on you than they realize, right? And above all, your absence strips them of manipulation powers, okay? And the next and the last thing, let's see what we wrote here, is that you are more valuable than you think you are. You just are too insecure to give it a try and test it out. Go ahead, leave your kids. Let them see how valuable you are. Those little motherfuckers are being ungrateful. Leave them. Send them to the orphanage and then take them back and say, hey, you're happy now? And then above all, some people are just natural ingrates. Some people will never truly appreciate you, right? Now, what am I trying to say with this video is that the only reason why you feel insecure is because you think they'll never come back if you leave them. You know, people who have a lot of sense of, who are highly secure, they realize that because at one point in their lives, they realize that the people who they love that act too cool for school were bluffing. And like, if I pull away, all of a sudden I realize more people pay more attention to me, right? And and they realize that early and they use it later in life. But some people they never really realize that because their parents or the people who they were raised used them as scapegoats. They were always kicked around and they were too insecure to even taste a little bit of absence. You know, I'm here to tell you, try it out yourself. You'll see that you have nothing to fear. In fact, they have more to fear than yourself, all right? If you guys want to apply these strategies, check out my courses. Oh, work with me one-on-one. Go to mindfulattraction.org and there you'll be able to book a one-on-one phone call with me where you'll be able to talk to me and see whether or not you should use absence. Check out my courses, Psychological Game of Attraction. It's a course that I made for single people that would make you go from single to relationship. Natural Chemistry is a course that I made for women who want to go from a superficial relationship and deepen the relationship along with respect. Emotional Mastery, it's a course that I created for people who want to master their emotions. So if you can't walk away, it means that you might have to check on the shit, right? On your emotions. Feminine Woman, it's a course that I created for women who want to develop more of their masculine energy and set and achieve their goals and actually manifest more. It's how to balance out your masculine and your feminine. And Dark Game is a course that I made for guys to help them improve their relationship with women. And Nice Girl is a course on how to be assertive. In other words, how to walk away, all right? Do that now by clicking on the description down below. And above all, if you don't, I'm closing the channel. Take care.